Hey, it's Shel Anderson from Shel's Creative Corner and Shel Anderson Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I blog at shelscreativecorner.blogspot.com and I can be reached anytime by email at andersonshel@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me for Stamp with Shel today. We are going to be having a play with some new products, and this time we are only playing with DSP cardstock. And you're wondering, what is she thinking about? Well, I learned on my Wednesday night video that sometimes you don't have a lot of supplies to play with. So I have chosen the gingerbread and peppermint 6x6 DSP, and the coordinating colors in that are Early Espresso, that is not Old Olive, pardon me. Let me just double check that. No, it is definitely not Old Olive. Give me a moment and I will get the correct color of cardstock. There we go. So let's replace that one with this one. Okay, so our color palette is Early Espresso, Real Red, Basic White, Cinnamon Cider, and Old Olive. So those are right on the back of the pack of paper. And then I just grabbed 2 packs of paper that have designs that we can cut out really easily. And all these papers are delicious. They're double-sided. See, this one here has Christmas trees on it, so there's 3 there. And then I chose some designs as well. And I also pulled the craft paper. This paper is with that suite of the gingerbread suite of products, but I believe this is designed for the 3D pillow box. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. It is gorgeous. I don't have it to show you, unfortunately. So I'm thinking that we're going to try and make a couple of cards just with this. I don't have a whole lot to play with. I'm going to pull a greeting, obviously, from somewhere else. But basically our cards are going to be made using these elements. So we have stars and mittens and bells and snowflakes and Christmas trees. But I think I'm going to use the opposite side of that paper. Maybe if I cut it smartly, we'll be able to use some of those trees, and that's the patterns on the back here. So I'm going to look at this and I am going to choose how about a bell, a star, I don't know. Let's do a bell and a snowflake. So I'm just going to cut around here. I'll take a bell and a snowflake out of this paper, like so. And I want a couple of stars for sure. So if I took a full star and a part of a star, that could be fun. And what else? I'm doing 2 cards. So if I did one with a bell, how about a bell and a star together? That might be fun. So if that was 1 card, and then a star, part of a star, a snowflake, and a bell. Let's just take another bell. We'll just do that. So there is the elements for our cards. So we can take these and set those aside. So now we need to get some colors going here. So if I did a card base, let me grab my paper trimmer. If I did a card base in Old Olive, actually let's cut all of these pieces of cardstock down into usable pieces. So we'll cut them all down to 5.5 by 8.5. And the leftovers will sit aside. And then we'll be able to figure out what we're doing. So there we have a bunch of card bases. So now we need to figure out, I was thinking those two patterns would go together really nice. And maybe, no, maybe not that, but you see where I'm going? Maybe a strip of red on that one. And how about this with a red card base? And this background I'm going to try something. I'm going to bring in this other paper trimmer. I want to see if I can cut off I know I can't do that with that one. I'm looking for a little bit of contrast. Like that right there. Look at that. Oops. Look, I can use that as an element in my card. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And I'm going to cut this down to 4. Actually, let's be smart. What size is this? Yep, let's do it this way. 4. See, I've got 2 trees there now that I can use. By 5 1/4. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit smaller so I can do it at 5. I'm going to cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5. That'll save that. And 3 3/4. See where I'm going? All right. So there's a matte layer that we're going to use on a different card. Now I need a strip of red. Let's do a strip of red to go on that card, like so. All right, so now that's one card sort of put together, and we will use the star and the bell on this one. All right, so there's one sort of kit. Now my other card, I was going to use the red with this, and why don't I use this strip on this card? Or, ooh, that's too much of that though, eh? Too much of a good thing. What if I switched it up? And that's too much. So if I went like that, and that's a little cray cray. How about just the plain old green? That on there, yeah, there we go. All right, we've got a few elements here. And maybe I will bring this piece of cinnamon cider. I'm trying to get rid of all these little bits and pieces. Maybe I will bring a 1-inch strip. How about a 3/4 inch strip of cinnamon cider? To layer behind that. Make that pop a little. And I guess it's this side that we want anyway. All right, and then we'll use those other elements on this card. All right, I think we are starting here to be okay. Let's see what I can come up with. Oh, I better cut this down. This should be 4. See what's on the other side. Okay, 4 by 5 1/4. There's 4, 5 1/4. Save all those little bits and bobs, and I should score my card base while I'm here. That one, and here is this one. Did you see what I just did? I cut instead of scored. Yep, that did happen. There we go. All right, let's get this cutter out of the way before I do any more damage. And let's see if we can get this card together in some semblance of looking good. So there is our first base. And there is, I don't know if I want to go landscape or if I want to go, which way do I want to go? I'm not sure. All right, while I'm pondering that, let's just cut these elements out. And as you can tell, they're very, very easy to cut out. And this is just by purchasing a pack of DSP. Think of how many cards you can make by simply cutting out these elements. Now, if that was your plan, it would be smart to grab your snips and sit in front of the TV one night and simply cut out all the elements so you had them in a little Ziploc bag all ready to go. That's just my little tip, so you don't have to do it every time you want to make a card. You'd have them all done and ready. as you can see, they're pretty simple to cut out. Now, if you got the stamp set and the dies, you would be able to cut these out with the dies. But as you can see, if you're just buying the paper and using a greeting that you already have, it's pretty easy to cut them out. All right, so let's see, a bell. I think I'm going to do this one vertically. So this needs to be cut the same size as the paper, and I think that was 3 3/4. Yes, it was. So we will cut this one at 3 3/4. All right. We are going to start to put this card together. And I need some glue. What a sin. Kind of sad to cover up all those trees. But it's just paper. I can buy more. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. Alright, so just get your DSP on there and get it as straight as you can. And then we're going to pop this guy on. I love the colors in this paper. And I'm not going to go right in the middle. I'm going to go down a bit, like so. Alright, now I think I'm going to glue this one flat. Even that side's nice. Look at that. I'm going to glue that one flat, and I'm going to put this one on some dimensionals. Oh, the back side of that one's nice too. Options, people, options. All right. And let's just overlap them a little bit, like so. So I have some room here to do a tag. And I am going to take this cinnamon cider and I'm going to find a greeting. How about just be jolly? This greeting right here. That one will do for this card. It's a nice size. I think it'll fit in that little slot. Let me find a block and some ink. All right, let's see what I can do here. Be jolly. Let's give it a whirl. And I have a halo. That's not cool. Where is my chamois? Let's see if we can clean this up. And we'll stamp it again. Alright, I'm going to try one more time, just because I can. See if I can get it a little closer to the bottom. Ah, look at this stamp, it's way up at the top. So we're going to do a little switcheroo. I'm batting 1,000. I hope you guys are getting some chuckles out of this at least. All right, enough is enough. Do you see all the paper that I'm wasting? We're gonna be smart and use our Stamparatus. We should have been smart from the start. Let's get this in here and see if we can line this up right. Looks straight, but I swear I will not guarantee it. Good enough for me. Finally. All right. Stick that on the stamp case. And now we will bring in the paper trimmer. Trim out this greeting, yes, greeting. All right, finally, we have a usable greeting. Now, a little fuzzy there I need to take care of. Put that down here, and I am just going to put that on an angle on a couple of dimensionals. I'm not going to mat it, I'm just going to stick it on there. Just like so. Now, what have we got for some sparklies? I'm thinking the champagne rhinestones are going to look nice on here. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's going to be nice. Take your pick tool. Actually, I'm going to use this one. And we'll take a big one and put it here. And then we'll take a couple of little ones and put them down there. I think I'm just going to leave those champagne rhinestones right here. They look lovely on there. What do you think? There is our card with no, I have to put a card liner in there obviously, but I just had a greeting stamped. That's it. The rest was all the designer series paper. All right. Let's see where I go from here. Let's get this card base folded and we will try our red card. All right, so I think I'm going to do this one landscape. Because I have 3 elements, I'm going to need the space, I think. So we're going to do this one landscape. Like so. All right. Let's bring those snips back in here and do a little fussy cutting. Now this snowflake is a little bit more detailed because there's more curves in it, but I know each and every one of you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can. The trick when you're doing this is to cut in this part, not on the tip, and don't move your scissors, move your paper. You'll get much smoother cuts by doing that. Now sometimes when you get in a tight area, you have to stray away from that advice I just gave you, but for the most part, if you turn the paper, I guarantee you're going to find fussy cutting to be smoother. Okay, I'm going to cut that off and start again. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody is going to notice if there's a little area that's a little thinner. And look at that. We have a gorgeous snowflake. Now, this is the one that I was going to use part of the star. So I'm going to have to lay something over the top of this so that you don't notice that it's only a partial star. And hopefully that plan works. And the bell. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of advice. They have not told us anything about what I'm about to talk to you about now, but I find that history repeats itself over and over. The items that go into back order status when there's a new catalog are typically consumable items. Since Stampin' Up! Makes their own stamps in Utah, the most you'll ever have to wait for a stamp is about a week because they make them themselves. However, the papers, the embellishments, the punches, and the dies, those all come from overseas. Cardstock comes from the United States. But the other stuff, that all comes from overseas. So if there's something that you really want, like a die set or a punch or whatever, make sure you pull that up to the top of your wish list. Get that sooner rather than later. A perfect example is these blending brushes. These things are worth their weight in gold. I love them. These are not made by Stampin' Up. These are not sourced in the USA. They come from overseas. I have a customer who has been waiting for these for a month and a half. So if there's an item that is not made by Stampin' Up! That you really want, please put it to the top of your list. Alright, I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4. And I'm going to do the same with this piece. All right, let's get this last card together. This is going to go here somewhere, and this is going to go on top. Actually, I'm going to put these together first. And I'm just going to center that on this piece of cinnamon cider. like so, and there's a little bit of excess here. I'm just going to flip that over and trim it off. And then this will go somewhere. Now the trick is going to be to disguise that fella. And I really want that bell in here. How am I going to do this? I need to figure this out. I really want it on the bell. Maybe something like that. All right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this piece down first, and we'll figure it out from there. All right, so that one is given. That's where it's going. Something like that. What do you think? I'm going to glue this one flat too, because I want to make sure that it covers that star. So I'm going to go bada bing like that. And then this one we're going to pop up on dimensionals. And we can figure out where we're going to put that after we get the placement for this. Something, yeah, something like that. Let's get this glued down. I know it's weird. I just kind of trying to design it on the fly. I really didn't know what I was going to do here tonight, but I'm liking it. It's working. So we have this bell, but I also, oh, I like it like that. I'm going to put that down. That looks good. I'm just going to overlap it down here. Perfect. Now we need to put a greeting up here. So I'm going to find another stamp set. How about Happy Holidays? Oh, there's lots of nice greetings in here. I like this big Noel. I should have stamped it right on the paper here. I'm going to try it. It's only paper, people. If I mess it up, I mess it up. And we have to start again. But I'm really going to try it. I am going to pull out Noel. And now I'm going to have my big head in the camera here for a minute or two, because I want to make sure it's as straight as I can. And I think I'm going to do it in real red. I'm going to try it anyway, see what it looks like. If I don't like it, I can always go over it with the basic black. I just need to find it, because all I have here for, or not all, but most of what I have is ink spots. I do have a few large size pads, but not in real red. All right, wish me luck, my friends. I'm hoping this red is going to be dark enough and straight enough. Take a deep breath. I think we can make this work. What do you think? Should I have gone with black? I think maybe I should have. Let's just go over the top of it with black. Good thing we have this perfect positioning tool. All right. Should have went with black from the start, but I wanted to try it with red. And yes, I have a couple of halos on there, but I am not beating myself up right now. I am just going to take a breath and have a look. I have some peppermints here that I think may help me out. Look at that. Look at that. I need another one. Another full one. Sorry, I'm off camera. Not that you need to see me cutting this candy out. I think I'll just put a couple more down through. And we'll see what it looks like. Trying to make them look intentional instead of just look like I'm covering something up. I mean, you and I know that I'm covering something up, but that's okay. Maybe one at the bottom. Oops, off track a bit here. What do you think? I may even pop them up on dimensionals. Because that way they're going to look even more intentional. And we can add some wink of Stella to them. I'm going to cover up that and pop on the candy. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Cover up the hot mess and pop on the candy. And these little babies can virtually go anywhere because they're just adding a little something something. All right, where's my Stella? Stella! Look at all that glittery goodness. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I'm going to do the star back here a little bit, and the snowflake a little bit, as well as the bell. Just add a hint of sparkle, and then I'm going to go back to these gorgeous champagne rhinestones, and I'm going to put a big one right in the middle of the snowflake, and then I'm going to take a little one and pop in the middle of every other one of these little candies, or flowers, or snowflakes, or whatever they're supposed to be. And that is going to bring it all together. I love it. I love it a lot. I'm thinking I want to put them in the middle of the candies, but I don't know what it's going to look like. Is it going to be too much? I'm trying to just lay one there so I can see. Oh yeah. If you're going to do something, you might as well go all out, right? Lots and lots of bling on this baby. There we go. We're all blinged out, my friends. Now, if we had some of this stuff put away so that we could see what we've created, it would be helpful. All right. Let's pop this stuff all over here. Let's move the Stamparatus. Get rid of the garbage. And see what we've got happening. All right. There is my card. Remember, we only used half of that star, so I mean we just camouflaged it so it looks like it's whole. And then we have this glittery goodness. I love them both, but I think I like this one more, and that's because of that plaid background. But there, my friends, are 2 Christmas cards all ready to go. All right, I hope you enjoyed this little class, and like I said, this is the called Gingerbread and Peppermint 6x6 Designer Series paper. All right, bye-bye for now.